Well, good morning. It's Peter from Professional Boat Care. Thanks for watching. Got a good trip this one. We're running a beautiful old Norman Wright 58 footer that's owned by a good mate of mine, Doug. We're taking it from Brisbane down to the Pittwater. Yeah, Doug and his wife Sally want to have a family holiday down there and asked me to give him a hand getting it down there. So the Pittwater, for those of you who don't know, is a beautiful waterway just north of Sydney Harbour. So joining us on the trip is Tony there, and this is Doug. So I'll give you a run through the boat in a moment, but before we do that, it's probably a good opportunity just to show you what Doug's sort of boating pedigree and history. So this was his first timber boat, Lorellen, and she was a cover girl on the classic Morton Bay cruiser book. We had some great trips there, particularly when our kids were little. She was owned by Billy Wright, who's actually from the Norman Wright yard, who built the boat. And then this was his second timber boat, Camira. Sorry about the poor quality there, filming my screen. But he did a full refit on her. And look, while we're at it, this is our old family boat, the South Pacific 2. And I thought I'd put that in there just to show, because Doug actually spent a lot of time. We had some great Christmas holidays and trips on South Pacific. Over the years, we've been friends since we were kids. I do feel partly responsible anyway for his love of wooden boats. And then while we're at it, we probably should look at my first family boat. That was, my grandfather had that one built. She's called Mid-Pacific now, but back then she was South Pacific. The original one. There's an amazing story there to be had of her being stolen and abandoned 3/4 of the way to New Zealand. And then one of the thieves tried to murder the other, and so anyway, we recovered the boat, but that's a story for another time. But if you're interested in getting this book, written by Andrew Harper, who's a mate of mine, you can get online and buy it at there's the website, classicmortonbaycruises.com. Anyway, back to the passage. So yeah, we left Manly Harbour in Brisbane, and it's about a 400 nautical mile passage. And with the weather that was shaped up the way it had, we decided to do it non-stop, which was going to be about 44 hours. So yeah, this is the lovely saloon, and we'll just take a walk down and have a look in the owner's master cabin, which is down aft under the trunk cabin. So he's got a shower and head there. You come up through the lovely saloon. This is the galley, which he's going to do a bit of a refit on at some stage. There's a double there, my cabin, shower and head, and then we got 4 bunks up in the forecastle. But yeah, she's got a great saloon, and she's overall in very good condition. Doug's only had it for a couple of years now, and does plan to do some work, which we'll talk about later. One of those jobs includes repowering her. She's got this lovely old original Deutz German engine. But I'm sure we'll be able to talk Doug into a separate video where we discuss all that. Defib?
Defib, yeah.
Good. A safety briefing. Life raft?
Life raft.
Yes.
Dog cutters.
So yeah, Tony, who's joining us, he's also very experienced at this sort of thing. He has a boat a little bit similar called Roof Red, which is in that book, and he's done some big passages out to Lord Howe Island and Tasmania, and he's also quite an accomplished yachtsman, so good to have him on board. So yeah, we made our way down the southern Bay Islands, southern Morton Bay, on our way down to the Gold Coast. As you can see, we've got a nice flood tide pushing us along, and then the beauty of it is we get the run out tide at the other end. It starts to get very busy as you get closer to the Gold Coast, the waterways. Yeah, so to have a quick look up on the flybridge, he's also got big plans to remove that awning and go back to a traditional sort of boomed awning and an open flybridge without the clears. And again, I think we'll cover that in a separate video. So as you know, routine engine room checking on these sort of passages is really important. Yeah, you can see that ebb tide giving us an extra knot there. And of course, when you run south on the eastern side of Australia, you get the Eastern Australian current, which runs south at, sometimes up to 4 knots. But generally you might expect 1 knot to help you along. As we approach the seaway here, we're feeling the effects now of a little bit of leftover swell from the weather we'd experienced. So yeah, I think I mentioned we've sort of got a little weather window here, and we've actually got to go non-stop to avoid a southerly blow at the other end. So whilst we've only got about 5 knots at best of east northeast wind there is a little bit of slop left over. And these beautiful old girls, they have a round bilge, so they rock and roll a little bit. And that's Scotty from Ocean Logic. He's our installer and tech on the new Garmin navigation gear. Just getting a few tips from him. This was its first sort of hit out. And look, a special mention to Doug's wife Sally, who
Thanks, Doug.
pre-prepared all our food. Makes it so much easier when you're on a rolling boat. Trawler off to work. That's Mount Warning in the background. So we're just sort of south of the Tweed now into New South Wales. And that cape up ahead is Cape Byron. That's the most easterly point of Australia. So time for an engine room check again. That's Julian Rocks, well-known dive spot just off Cape Byron. Looking in there to Watergo Bay and beautiful little town, Byron Bay. Beautiful lighthouse too. One of the features of the coast along here is, or New South Wales coast, is all the lovely lighthouses. Look, I always get teased for making people do these photos, but they'll thank me one day. Yeah, so looking in at Ballina, it's in New South Wales, and it's got the Richmond River. That trawler we saw earlier probably came out of there. Time to stow the red ensign as the sun sets. Set up for our night passage. We did 3-hour watches from memory. Anyway, next morning it was beautiful weather still, as predicted. And Tony, being the yachtsman, was keen to help Doug get the jib on. Since he had bought the boat, he hadn't put the jib up, so we thought we'd get it up and ready in case we get a bit of breeze. A jib on an old boat like this is used more as a steadying sail. It just dampens the roll. Yeah, you need, probably 10-15 knots before it starts to do anything, but Because he had never had it up, it was good to spend some time putting it up while there was no breeze. Those beach decks, all old timber boats, beach or teak decks, they love salt water on them, so it's good for it. Conditions are just fantastic, so everything's going to plan, and we'll be into Pittwater about 6 a.m. Yeah, so that's 6 a.m. Monday I'm referring to, so today's Sunday. Some of these lovely headlands, and it's a different coast to the Queensland coast. You know, we've got the Barrier Reef and so many islands. Very few islands when you head down the New South Wales coast. You know, if you want to seek shelter, you've got to go into these rivers, which, you know, is great, but they can be pretty sketchy if you've got a bit of a sea running and an outgoing tide, for example. You know, they often break right across. So, yeah, I think that's one of the beautiful things about this coast, though. It's so different to the Queensland coast in many respects. We got Diamond Head just here, so everything's going really well. We've only got about 5 knots of northerly. We've got about half a metre of east swell. Well, it's really northeast now. And as we come more around to the southwest, it's virtually on our stern. So conditions are great. A lot less rolling. Everyone's having a snooze at the moment. I'm on watch, and yeah, loving it. Such a cool boat to be running down the coast on. You can see the floats there in the water. They're all the way down the coast. We tend to stand further offshore at night time, so we're hopefully in a deeper water where they don't set their pots. So yeah, we're just playing here, filling in the afternoon. Thought we might have enough breeze, wishful thinking. But it did keep the sun off us while we had lovely afternoon drinks on the bow. And another photo.
Enjoying your photo shoot afternoon? Yeah. That's one beauty with Summerley. There's lots of places to hide on the road.
So a lovely sunset. Engine room check before dinner. We had a bit of a storm developing just south of us, but we sort of missed the worst of it. It moved out to sea. So I always try and choose the watch that takes me through to the dawn. It's my favourite time of the day. Here's a bit of an overview. We left Brisbane up here, came down the coast. You can see how it turns in more southwest, the course, coming across the Stockton Bight there, Newcastle and that area. And then this is Pittwater. And a bit further south you can see Sydney Harbour. But if we take a look back here at the Pittwater, now track in, and if you come right down this behind Palm Beach and right down into Newport area, and we zoom in, we can see the yacht club. Well, you know you're almost there when you start seeing these big cliff faces. That's what the entrance to Sydney Harbour looks very similar to that. And you can see we've beaten the southerly, although it's just starting to trickle in now. Actually blew about 25 knots later that day, so yeah, it was good we got there in time. Boys were up to enjoy it, the excitement of it all, and that book's a great thing to own, Cruising the New South Wales Coast by Alan Lucas. So yeah, we were having a look how far in we could poke, trying to find somewhere nice and quiet where we could just have a rest for the rest of the day, because we're actually about 3 days early, so for our berth at the Royal Prince Alfred, for example. Because we had gone non-stop, we really were keen to catch up on some sleep, really.
Looks like Curtis is pretty.
Yeah.
Is it her? Is it she?
No, it wouldn't be. Have a look at some of the real estate down there. There's some amazing homes and places to live. Incredible views. So that's Barrenjoey Head there, and that's Palm Beach, back of Palm Beach. Looking right down into the Pittwater, that's Lion Island in the background. Yeah, it's great to be back down here, down south. Obviously I normally head north, but I do guide a few clients down this way to Sydney and back to Brisbane. But two trips that really stand out for me would be on South Pacific 2, our family boat, when we came down for the 1988 bicentennial. That was incredible fun with the tall ships and everything. And then of course New Year's Eve 2000 on Sydney Harbour, that was amazing as well. Yeah, so this is the furthest I'd ever been up into the Pittwater. So apologies if I get some of the names wrong, but this is Cowan Creek that we're steaming up now. Just ahead of us here, that's Cottage Point, and I think it's called the Ku-ring-gai Motor Yacht Club. Those boats are berthed. Yeah, beautiful area. I think it's the Ku-ring-gai National Park is what we're looking at, all the trees everywhere. And, they look like Queensland built boats there. I'm sure someone could put in the comments who they are, the history on them. So that's a super yacht coming up our starboard side, just giving us a courtesy call. But it was only later in editing that I noticed the guy on the top deck's shirt. It's got a big W and a picture of an anchor next to it. I thought that was pretty funny. and he's heading up into the Dalbora Marina in Akuna Bay, which you can see up there around the corner. I love the little surprises here as you come around all the corners. This creek's called the Coal and Candle Creek, and it's just a dead-end creek. Looks like a great place to hide out so we can get some sleep.
How much water you got there?
7 metres.
Well done.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Well done, gentlemen. And well done to that Deutz engine. Didn't miss a beat. So, quick breakfast, and then we went to sleep for 4 hours. So then we woke up and thought, righto, well, let's go down to the Pittwater and have a poke around. Check out our berth, the Royal Prince Alfred, and find somewhere to anchor for the evening, given we were 3 days early. So this is Refuge Bay. It's got a waterfall up in the corner there, and all those mooring buoys, I'm told, are full on the weekends.
2 weeks later, really dropped it down.
And this is cool. Doug reminded me that bell rope was platted by my late stepfather, old Spencer Anderson. Still going strong and loved. Great to see. And that's West Head there, which is adjacent to Palm Beach, and you can see the old bunkers that were built during the war tucked in there. That's Palm Beach again. Barrenjoey Head, the lighthouse. And he's clearly a Jimmy Buffett fan. It truly is amazing. People have a great lifestyle down here if you're into boating. Magnificent homes, big protected waterway. So that's the Royal Motor Yacht Club. That's sort of next door to the Royal Prince Alfred almost. That's Winifred. Now she's sister ship to my grandfather's first boat, South Pacific, which is now Mid Pacific. So amazing seeing her there. Last time I saw her was at the Wooden Boat Show at Tasmania a few years ago. And this is the Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club. And where that cat is on the end there is the berth that we'll be taking in a few days. Lots of Flemings down this way. Check out some of my old videos. There's some good trips on Flemings. And then we stumbled across so many palm beaches. They are one of my favourite boats, that's for sure. So beautiful, that down east picnic boat style. That little Halverson there, that's another boat that's very famous for Sydney Harbour. That little one had been done up on the Gold Coast. It was for sale at the time. Yeah, so this marina is Marine. We'll talk about that a bit more soon, but you can see Lorellen, she's a real head turner. They don't see many Morton Bay cruises down here. And then a funny thing happened, so the guys at Marine there noticed us going by, and then they saw my professional boat care shirt and called me and offered us a berth, which was so nice because, as I said, we didn't have anywhere to stay really for a couple of days, and they said come and stay at our marina. So we took them up on that, and can't thank them enough. Very generous and nice of them. Yeah, so we agreed we'd go back there the next day, but that gave us another hour or two just to go exploring. So we sort of went around the back of Scotland Island, which is an interesting place to live. It's cut off from the mainland. But the harder you look into all these bays at all the boats, there's some absolute classics in amongst it. And little projects like that one waiting to be done. And yeah, if you're a boatman, this area is just fantastic. And that's MV Lookout. She's a famous boat, ran as a fishing charter boat out of Brisbane for many, many years, and she's retired down here. So this area here I've anchored a few times, like on the Nordhaven and South Pacific too. We've anchored here as well way back. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but it's just outside Carreel Bay. So that became our anchorage for the evening. And the drone was very new to me at this stage, so I wasn't much of a pilot at that stage. I'm getting better though. Yeah, so looking into the land there, that's sort of between Palm Beach and Whale Beach, I suppose. That's Palm Beach in the background. And Doug was very kindly filming me because we thought it could be a spectacular crash landing. Sorry to disappoint. Anyway, stowed the red ensign and had an early night. Yeah, so the plan today was to take up Marine on their kind offer for the berth in the marina there, full of palm beaches. Yeah, so the boys at Marine, they're also the agents for the Scimitar catamaran you can see there. That's David Rao, who owns the marina, and Rao Marine, and they do all the refits on these palm beaches. Couldn't ask for a better place to tie up for a couple of days. Yeah, we were in heaven. So many beautiful boats. Anyway, we thought we'd go up and join civilization and grab something for breakfast from the local cafe. And that was enough civilization. Let's get back to those beautiful palm beaches. Look at that old classic, eh? Some good old-fashioned seamanship here. Probably single screw, no bow thrusters. Then it was time for lunch at the Newport, which is a fantastic hotel right above the Marina we were staying in. And then after lunch, Tony headed for the airport, and Doug and I were going to stay on for a couple of days. We woke to an absolutely beautiful morning. That big southerly had blown itself out already, and you can see out to the ocean there over Newport, and that's looking north.
Take a train ride just to see you. Ride for hours just to please you. You don't know how much I need you, 'cause you're my home away from being alone.
So after a leisurely morning, we started to prepare to move around to our berth at the Royal Prince Alfred. So thanks again to the Mac Marine boys for putting that together. That was fantastic. Should be able to just pull it, that's it. Yeah, all free. And that's Mike who's helping us. That's Doug's brother-in-law who happens to live at Newport, not far from where we're berthed. So he was coming to help us go around to get fuel before we went around to our berth. So this is the fuel wharf at the Royal Motor Yacht Club. So there's our berth on the end there, ready for us. Given the plan was to leave the boat for a couple of weeks, we doubled up on a lot of the ropes and made sure she wasn't going anywhere and well fended. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and if I've got any of the names wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comments. That's helpful for everyone. The return passage, it's a great video coming up, so please subscribe and hit the notifications bell. That way you won't miss it when I upload it. So thanks again, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you then. Cheers.